What's up, everyone, and welcome to Rapid News. Have you ever waited for something for so long that you pretty much gave up all hope? Well, for millions of gamers, a nearly 20-year wait for a new game in a legendary Star Wars series might finally be coming to an end. A beloved classic is making a comeback, sort of, and the announcement sent absolute shockwaves across the internet. So what is this game, why is everyone freaking out, and is the hype even real? Let's break it all down.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by digging into why this has been a 2-decade wait. Then, we'll officially meet the new game, Fate of the Old Republic, and talk about the legendary creator who's making a surprise return. After that, we'll cover everything we actually know so far, and then we'll have a little reality check. And finally, we'll ask the big question, is this the start of a whole new Star Wars legacy?
So to really get why this announcement is such a huge deal, we need to hop in a time machine and go way back. We're talking over 2 decades ago to 2003. A game came out that didn't just tell you a Star Wars story, it let you live one.
Now, I get it. For a lot of you, a game from 2003 sounds like ancient history, like from the dinosaur age of gaming, right? So what's the big deal? Why are people who played it back then, and even people who have only heard whispers about it, completely losing their minds right now?
We are talking about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, or as everyone calls it, KOTOR. This was not just another Star Wars action game. No. This was a deep, single-player role-playing game, an RPG, where you got to create your own character and live out your own epic Star Wars adventure. It was so ahead of its time that, no joke, it's still called one of the greatest video games ever made.
So what was the secret sauce? Well, first off, it was set thousands of years before the movies, in this whole new, mysterious part of the Star Wars timeline. But the most important thing was freedom. Your choices had real, actual consequences. You could be a noble Jedi saving the galaxy, or you could fall to the dark side and become a power-hungry Sith Lord. It pretty much wrote the book on choice-driven stories that we see in so many games today. Oh, and it had a plot twist so huge, people still talk about it. So yeah, it's really no wonder fans have been begging for a true sequel for over 20 years.
And that brings us to right now. For years and years, it was nothing but rumors, fake leaks, and a whole lot of disappointment. But then, at one of the biggest gaming events of the year, the long wait finally officially came to an end. It all went down at the Game Awards on December 11th, 2025. Out of absolutely nowhere, a trailer dropped and the internet basically exploded. It wasn't KOTOR 3, but something totally new, Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic.
Now, the teaser was just a cinematic, so no gameplay yet, but wow, the vibe was perfect. The scenes looked absolutely gorgeous, all running on Unreal Engine 5. We saw this cool new ship landing on a snowy, isolated planet. A crew gets out, and get this, one of them is a droid that looks a lot like the fan-favorite murder bot, HK-47. They're checking out this huge, crashed Sith warship, and the trailer ends with a mysterious figure lighting up a blue lightsaber right as some giant, tentacled monster shows up. It was short, spooky, and got everyone hyped.
The trailer itself was super exciting, for sure. But the real bombshell, the news that made everyone sit up and go, wait, what? Came right after. The person leading this new project? It's the same guy who directed the original KOTOR. The legend is back.
That man is Casey Hudson, and his resume is basically perfect for this job. Not only did he direct the original KOTOR, but he's the guy who went on to create and direct the entire Mass Effect trilogy. I mean, think about that. A whole series built on deep characters and choices that carried over from one game to the next. He mastered this kind of storytelling. So after starting his own new studio, Arcanaut, he's coming back to the Star Wars galaxy. You can see why fans have a lot of confidence in this.
And you can tell this isn't just another paycheck for him. He actually put out a statement saying, "Working on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was one of the defining experiences of my career." For fans, hearing that this is a true passion project is probably the most reassuring thing he could have said. It means the game is in the right hands.
Okay, so the hype is through the roof. The original creator is back at the helm, but what kind of game is this actually going to be? Let's dive into the official details and see what we know.
So, here are the key facts. The title is Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. The genre is a single-player narrative action RPG. That's just a fancy way of saying the focus is 100% on you and your story. It's being made by Casey Hudson's new team, Arcanaut Studios, along with Lucasfilm Games. It's being built on Unreal Engine 5, so it's going to look amazing. And it's coming to PC and consoles, though they're being a little quiet about which consoles for now.
All right, now for the story. This is a big one. They're calling it a spiritual successor, not a direct sequel. So think of it like this. It's got the same soul as KOTOR, deep story, big choices, but it's a completely new adventure. All new characters, all new story. It's set at the very end of the Old Republic, in a time they're calling a galaxy on the edge of rebirth. And yep, you'll be playing as a Force user, and just like the original, every choice you make pushes you closer to the light side or the dark side.
So everything we've heard sounds incredible, right? Almost too good to be true? Well, this is the part where we need to pump the brakes just a little bit. As exciting as all this news is, it's time for a quick reality check.
5 months. That's it. That's how old the development studio Arcanaut was when this game was announced to the world. Casey Hudson started the company in July of 2025, and this huge reveal came in December. Look, even with a master like him in charge, a brand new studio needs time to build something this huge. A lot of time. So let's just be real about what we have versus what we're still waiting for. We saw a really cool cinematic trailer, but we have seen zero actual gameplay. We know the game is real, but we have no release date. We don't even have a release year. We know the director is a genius, but we don't know the specific consoles it'll be on. The developers themselves have said the game is in the early stages of development, and we all know what that means. We need to be very, very patient.
And you know what? You really can't blame fans for being a little skeptical. The last few years have been kind of rough for big Star Wars game announcements, with some other cool-looking projects getting delayed or even flat-out canceled. Heck, even the official remake of the original KOTOR has had a really troubled development. So while everyone is super hopeful, there's also a big sense of, okay, this is amazing, but we'll believe it when we see it.
So, with all that caution out of the way, why is this announcement still being celebrated as such a huge win for gamers? Well, let's talk about the hope this project represents for the future of Star Wars.
When you boil it all down, it comes back to this. This game is a return to what made people fall in love with KOTOR in the first place. It is a promise of a deep, personal, single-player adventure that is all about your choices. It's not a live service game with a battle pass, it's not a multiplayer-only shooter, it's a game focused completely on telling an epic story where you get to be the hero or the villain. That's the magic formula, and that's what this new game is aiming to bring back.
And that brings us to the ultimate question. After a wait of over 20 years, could Fate of the Old Republic finally be the Star Wars RPG we've all been waiting for? All the right pieces seem to be in place. Now, all we can do is wait and see. But what do you all think? Are you on the hype train, full steam ahead, or are you being cautiously optimistic? And what's one thing you absolutely want to see in a new story set in the Old Republic? Let me know down in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Rapid News for more explainers like this one. Thanks for watching.